Let's talk VA claims and some myths that may be out there. But overall, the very first thing I want to say is that when it comes to VA claims, there is hope. It is a very complicated process. I understand that. But there is hope. It's not impossible for you to win your claim. And I get that when it comes to the VA, it feels like they literally want you to croak before they give you benefits. It is a complicated process. It's easy to say Google something, but how do you put it together? You may have Googled things, you may have tried free services, but you're still stuck in the same place. So let's break down a few different things. First and foremost, I want to highlight that what may have happened to someone else doesn't necessarily mean it'll happen to you. What I mean by that is someone else got denied, that's their reality. The medical conditions vary from veteran to veteran, so do claims. We have to treat things unique to the veteran. So having a plan and strategy and understanding the process hopefully helps you minimize the chances of being denied because you failed to do a thing. There still may be system errors, but at least let's minimize the operator error side of the house. Now, I understand also that you may have been denied, and the feeling of being denied is the worst. But the fact is, you've earned your benefits. You may need your benefits, and you don't want to keep putting it off. So the fear of being denied again shouldn't stop you, but rather let's put a plan together and be more resourceful and strategic to be able to file again the right way. Now, when you file a VA claim, it's going to be a records review in a sense. And what I mean by that is you're going to have to present medical records, service achievement records as needed, buddy statements, personal statements, sworn statements as needed, nexus letters, letters from your doctor, whatever you have to help you make the argument. This is going to be key because when it's all said and done, you're arguing to the VA that a medical condition you have has become disabling. So you have to be able to argue that. So you have to make sure, first and foremost, that you avoid things like being denied because you didn't get diagnosed. Without a diagnosis, you can't file a claim because what disability do you have if you don't have a recognized condition that's current? So that's one of the very first things I want to highlight. Once you submit your claim and you have all these things in, the VA will call you in for a CMP exam. Go to your CMP exam. This is where they're going to check you out and see what you've submitted to get a rationale based on how impaired you may be. This can happen in person, virtually online, or it can even happen via a records review or a combination of those depending on what you file for. So maybe one in-person exam, one online, a records review. They may defer something, which means they'll decide on something now, push the other claims later because they're still working on it. So that's one thing to note. Now, one thing I want to highlight too is the longer you wait, the more difficult it gets. Again, it's not impossible to win a claim if you've been out of service for a period of time, but the longer you've been out, the more difficult it is to argue the claim because maybe the situation you have may be due to things outside of service, right? So don't procrastinate, get to the claim. It's never too late, but if you're procrastinating and waiting longer, you're making the process more difficult for yourself. Another point too is it's not a fast process. Don't wait until you need your benefits to file a claim. You'd be surprised how many veterans we see who are in conditions or situations where they need their benefits, they need their care or what have you, but literally the VA is taking their time now and you're rushing thinking the VA is going to rush for you. Sadly, the VA doesn't do that unless it's something that warrants it to be sped up. So the fact of the matter is don't wait until you need the benefits to file for the benefits. Now, some places where you can start your claim can happen online. You can mail it in, you can call in VSO. You have many options to do this. VA.gov is a great resource to be able to start the process of filing your claim. An intent to file gives you a year to put all these things together. So make sure you open the intent to file and then do the work needed to begin to process and put together your claims to submit to the VA. Now, some common myths when it comes to VA claims is that you can't file a claim unless you've been to war. False. An injury, a disability is a disability, is an injury. A symptom is a symptom, a diagnosis is a diagnosis, PTSD is PTSD, whether it happened in combat or down the road, off base or on base. So it doesn't matter if you went to combat or not, if you were injured on the line of duty, in service, that is something that you can file for regardless of what you may have heard. Now, another point too to consider is you're not taking benefits away from anybody. So there's a sadly a horrible misconception when it comes to claims that you're taking from someone else. You're not. Same way that your medical health care benefits don't take from another veteran, your disability does not take away from another veteran. So your condition is your condition. It doesn't take away from somebody else's. I understand someone else may have it worse, but the reality is somebody else may have it better than you too as well. So that misconception that you're taking from someone is inaccurate. Now, some expectations to be able to minimize and kind of curtail a little bit is that not all claims are created equally. Some folks think a tinnitus claim will take them to 100. It's not, 10% only. So understand how things are rated and be realistic to the expectations of what you're filing for. Not everyone goes to 100. Some people do. But the fact of the matter is, understand how the conditions you're filing for are rated to be able to make a more informed decision and put together a more solid claim. Now, having a plan of action, being strategic will help and save you headaches down the road. You want to know how things are rated to be one, able to make sure you get the maximum benefits for what you're filing for, and then two, to make sure that you're rated appropriately depending on what it is you're filing for. So, understanding how something is rated and then being able to make a solid argument will help you. Understanding high value claims and being able to make informed decisions to get all the things needed to help you in your process. Like the saying goes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So here it's about planning to be successful. I understand. I understand that when it comes to this process, there's a lot of unknowns. But one of the biggest things I would encourage is to reach out. The reason we put together VNCC is to be able to give education and information to veterans. You don't want to go through this process alone. I'm not big on bashing anyone. I'll poke fun, obviously, at different entities. But when it's all said and done, the veteran should make the decision that works for them, whether it's the lawyer or VSO or private organization. Make the informed decisions and get the help that's going to be there for you. On this side of the house, it's about educating our veterans, showing up as we do, and offering different things, whether it be a workshop, a class, ebooks, or what have you, or advisory service, more one on one. We want to make sure we're meeting our veterans where they are at. So I would highly encourage you to reach out, check our website out, and even talk to one of my advisors if you want to get perspective on something. We don't do hard sales or anything like that. Last but not least, one of the biggest thing I will say is that there is hope when it comes to this process. I understand someone may have been out of service for a long period of time, but our oldest veteran was out for 50 years and he still won his claim and went to 100. So it doesn't matter how long the process has been. The whole point here is to understand that one, there is hope. Just because you've been denied doesn't mean that you cannot win your claim. Just because you heard some rumors or someone saying something negative, don't let that discourage you or stop you from your process. It isn't impossible, but starting in little steps will go a long way. Open an incentive file, get the records you need, get the help you need, get support because not everything is on Google. Being able to get a tailor fit operation strategy for you will go a long way. So get the right help and make informed decisions and put things together the right way. Hopefully, this helps. If you have any questions, we'll see you in the comment section and be able to give you some more information.